Monster Mondays, brought to you by Grimdark Live. This is a series where we talk about different monsters in the Warhammer worlds, their lore, history, and what it would be like to fight them in the game and in real life. These videos are based on your suggestions that you leave in the comments sections down below. So if you'd like to have me cover and talk about a monster in the Warhammer worlds, just let me know in the comments of this video. Now, let us begin. It is time for Monster Monday. Today's monster is the Aleguzzler Gargant. With the looming excitement of the upcoming Sons of Behemoth release, today's monster is one of many Gargants to be reviewed on Monster Monday. For the sake of this video, you shall hear tonight's monster referred to as giants and as gargants. These names very definitive in time frame of this lore, and such must be interchanged. Giants are a large, lumbering, and highly unintelligent race of brutish nomads that roam the Warhammer world seeking battles and food, both large and small. Descendants of the long-forgotten Sky Titan civilization, giants are extremely few in number, but they make up for this disadvantage with bone-crushing strength. To most gloomspite and greenskins, a giant is a bellowing, cursing display of raw might, ruthless aggression, and mindless savagery, traits that are highly respected and sought after within the gloomspite and greenskin society. As such, many tribes would often fight each other over the possession of a giant. In their part, giants are quite happy to join an army of gloomspites, as it would significantly increase their chances of eating regularly and getting their hands on plunder and strong liquor. To keep a giant within a tribe, the gloomspites would often have to regularly feed him considerable amounts of food. As such, should the giants become too hungry, he would usually wander off into the wilderness and never return. Giants are solitary creatures and tend to wander the lands, settling for short periods of time when they find a rich food source. A giant can consume an entire herd of livestock in a sitting and will devastate any village he comes across, pulling out and eating anything he can find amidst the stomping and the splintered structures. Breweries are especially favored targets, as giants are notorious drunkards. On occasion, a giant will be persuaded to join a passing army, often chaos-worshipping men from the north or marauding ogre tribes, who lure the lummoxes with promises of fighting and food. Living a solitary and nomadic lifestyle, giants can be found in many locations within the old world and in our world of Age of Sigmar. They'll be found terrorizing the countryside of human kingdoms and eating up many of its peaceful inhabitants. Once a giant has cleaned up all the available food within a region, he would move on to find more fertile and unspoiled lands, often leaving behind the bones and husks of many ruined villages in its wake. On occasion, giants can be compelled or persuaded to join rampaging war bands of greenskins, ogre maw tribes, or gloomspite gits. Outside of this game, giants loom large in the world of mythology, frequently representing the most ominous of foes. Their huge size immediately evokes ideas of superhuman strength and formidable abilities, and yet, in many legends, the giant is in fact a tragic character, often suffering an incourageous death. In Greek mythology, Atlas was one of the Titans who went to war against Zeus's gods of Olympus. When the Titans lost, Zeus condemned Atlas to hold up the sky for all eternity. Goliath was the biblical giant defeated against the odds by a shepherd David. Many different legends surround the Greek giant Orin. In one version, he is an egotistical hunter who brags that he can kill any beast alive. On hearing of this boast, a tiny scorpion stings Orion, and he falls down dead. In Irish mythology, Balor is the king of the Fomorans, a race of giants who were said to be early settlers of Ireland. Balor, much like the Cyclops, was a one-eyed giant and the god of death. Whoever was caught in his gaze would die instantly. Due to this unfortunate tendency, Balor kept his single eye closed until his terrible power was needed. According to a prophecy, it was said that Balor would be killed by his own grandson, so he imprisoned his daughter in a crystal tower in a vain attempt to prevent her from having any offspring. However, before long, a minor god who loved her snuck in and impregnated Balor's daughter, who gave birth to 3 sons. On discovering the birth of his grandsons, Balor had them thrown into the sea, but one boy escaped his fate and was fostered by the god of the sea. The prophecy finally played out when the boy had grown. He went to battle and killed Balor by ripping out his eye. In the lore of Warhammer Fantasy, now understood in Age of Sigmar, it was in ages past the giants were the direct descendants of the Sky Titan civilization who ruled benevolently within the highest peaks of the mountains of Morn. They were far larger than any giants of today, and were also considerably more intelligent. Unlike the giants, the Sky Titans didn't interfere with the lands below. Instead, they kept to themselves, secure in their ancient fortresses, surrounded by a sea of clouds. For the most part, they only ventured from their fastness to tend to their flock of mammoths, aloft from the conflict of the world below. As with all things, however, this peace was destined to end, and the Sky Titans were eventually destroyed by the destructive rampaging and migration of the ogre race. The ogres came to the mountains after their homeland was destroyed by the Great Maw, a malevolent entity that supposedly obliterated much of the eastern steppes and killed a large portion of the ogre population. Both fearing and worshipping the Great Maw, the ogre race sought a new homeland to call their own. Eventually, the ogres reached the mountains, and it was there that the Great War, known as the War of the Heavens, began between the ogres and the Sky Titans. The Sky Titans fought this monstrous race with tremendous ferocity and massive strength. However, they could not match the numbers of the ogres, and like a pack of wolves taking down a bear, the ogres crushed the Titan race, breaking down the great masonry of their fortresses and hurling them down to the lands below. One by one, the Titans fell, and soon their great civilization was nothing more than mere ruins. The Sky Titans' children were taken and beaten into submission, becoming the slaves of many ogre tribes. The once flourishing great flocks of mammoths, which once roamed the lands, were mercilessly hunted by the ogres. The few surviving Sky Titans fled. Forced into small tribes, they became inbred, their intellect dwindling until they eventually became the giants that are known as of today. Others believe they are the descendants of Behemoth, a zodiac god-beast rumored to live in Gyron. Once mighty forest warriors and woodland kings whose empires stood in every realm and stretched over the horizon. Coarse and slightly bestial, they pursued civilization up to a certain point, as they weren't partial to excessive clothing and lacked personal hygiene. Some legends say that they are the refugees of a destroyed world that settled in the realms, drowning their sorrows of losing their land in copious amounts of booze. It's common for greenskins and ogres to take advantage of their size and trusting nature by concocting the most stiff and despicable beverages in wagon loads in order to lure these gargants into helping their armies and smashing their foes. They are drunken brutes, tromping around the realms, destroying bits of the landscape or uprooting any trees they find suspicious. Stupid and quick to anger, anything that leaves them slightly a bit confused will send them into a destructive rage. However, their memories are also very limited, and as such, they forget why and where they're destroying, and just continue for the fun of it. In battle, giants wade in with a tremendous bulk, crushing the foe beneath their slab-like feet, or sweeping any before them into the air with their clubs fashioned out of uprooted trees. They will go into combat utilizing improvised weapons like tree trunks, statues, or even livestock. Not that they have any problem using their enormous horse-sized feet capable of leaving craters wherever they stop to crush their foes. Sometimes a giant will select a particular target and reach down to pluck the unfortunate up. These victims are sometimes bitten in two, hurled far, far away, squished into a paste, or simply stuffed into a secure, smelly piece of their pants, placed to be retrieved later for a snack. In combat, giants would often charge mindlessly into the enemy's front lines, using their massive club or tree as a weapon. Wearing little to no armor, giants are highly susceptible to either a concentrated volley of missile troops or a well-placed shot from a great cannon. Should the enemy lack missile capability, it is extremely hard to take down a giant in close quarters combat. They can stomp to death whole regiments or bash down a dreadhole walls with their clubs. Due to their permanent drunkenness, their feet are also unreliable, never able to walk a straight line, often tripping over if they walk fast or crushing anybody or anything that happens to be in their path. They have special difficulty traversing ruins and towns, staggering through the streets, damaging roofs, and stomping wagons. A falling Gargant is extremely dangerous, sending warriors scattering, screaming in all directions. With those not quick enough to get out of the way, they are buried under tons of greasy hair and unwashed flesh. The unfortunate ones are killed instantly, while the lesser fortunate spend their last moments suffocating under huge, sweaty armpits. If you are a Gloomspite, Destruction Allied, or a future Sons of Behemoth player and wish to field one of these monsters on the tabletop, you can purchase one from Games Workshop, where the box set contains one multi-part plastic Aleguzzler Gargant. This 75-piece kit can be assembled with one of 4 head variants, 3 weapons, and 3 variants of feet, including cloven hooves. Also included are a wide range of additional parts that allow you to further customize your Aleguzzler Gargant and one scenic base. Thank you for spending this evening with me on Monster Monday, and as well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did enjoy this, please make sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up down below, maybe leave a comment and share it with your friends. All this helps this channel and lets me know that I'm doing a good job, and in turn, please promote us to other viewers. So thank you again, and we will see you again next Monday for another Monster Monday.